Hi everyone, coming up today on Appeal TV, Priscilla Presley stops by Graceland, and of course, more Tiger talk. They've made it to the Elite Eight, so Gary Robinson is back to tell us how the University of Memphis will match up to Ohio State.
A berth in the Final Four is at stake today when the Memphis Tigers play Ohio State, the South Regional top seed, at 3:40 p.m. at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. There are three areas of comparison we'd like to present for you today. The first of which is how Greg Oden, the Ohio State 7'1" freshman star, will match up against Joey Dorsey and Robert Dozier of the Memphis Tigers front line. To do that, I asked Dan Walken, who's in San Antonio covering the game, for a little insight.
Backups for Memphis, Kareem Cooper and Pierre Niles, really just aren't equipped to play big minutes, and when they're forced into those roles, things can go downhill in a hurry for the Tigers. They're going to need to have Dorsey and Dozier on the floor 30 to 35 minutes. And Oden, you can't count on Oden to necessarily get in foul trouble, and I don't think the Tigers are going to go in. John Calipari said this today. They're not going to coach the game to get him in foul trouble because it'll just backfire. You just can't coach a game that way. Those two big guys for Memphis have proven they can really affect the outcomes of games, and they've done it in this tournament. And if they're in there and playing well, I really like the Tigers' chances.
Another aspect to compare this game is the matter of tempo. As the Tigers played Texas A&M on Thursday night, they played a little faster pace in the first half than they did in the second half, but I think it shows how much the Tigers were able to adapt to their circumstances, that they were able to come out ahead in a game that didn't get to 70 points for the winner. Ohio State just finished playing a game with Tennessee, which plays at a similar pace to Memphis, in that the Vols love to press, they love to go fast, and that game was in the 80s. So tempo will be dictated by the winning side, and the Tigers need to keep it at a little faster pace. The Big Ten prefers a slower pace. Ohio State is the champion of the Big Ten, so look for Ohio State to try to play a little slower. Look for the Tigers to play a little faster, and the team that controls the tempo will be the one that probably comes out on top. And the third facet to talk about is experience. Talking heads have talked about how the Tigers are not a particularly experienced team, with a lot of sophomores and juniors leading the way and some freshmen. But Ohio State plays three freshmen a great number of minutes, including Greg Oden, their center, and Mike Conley Jr., their starting point guard. The difference in the experience, I think, is that a year ago, all of the key Tiger players were playing in the Elite Eight against UCLA. At this time last year, two of the key Ohio State players, being Oden and Conley, were playing for the State of Indiana High School Basketball Championship. But experience in this particular game has to go to the Tigers. Greg Oden is going to present a handful for the Tigers, but the Tigers are deep, they're long, they're athletic, they're on a hot streak. They're looking at being a team of destiny to get to the Final Four out of a mid-major conference USA. I think they can go all the way to Atlanta this year.
I made this for you, Mom.
Wow.
It's milk with the cookies already in it.
Wow.
Frank looks at the chart and says, it's net, not gross.
Wow.
Well?
Wow.
The world's most perfectly cut diamond. Thrills like no other. Hearts on fire.
The year 2007 marks a special anniversary for Graceland. It was 50 years ago that Elvis purchased Graceland for his home, and to commemorate this historic event, painter of light Thomas Kinkade has created his newest masterpiece. Kinkade unveiled his painting Friday morning, and who was there to welcome him to Graceland? None other than Priscilla Presley.
This is 50 years ago, this month actually, that Elvis purchased Graceland. Very few people have realized Elvis's love for home. You hear very much about his rock and roll history, his film career, him being the most charismatic star or person, but you never really knew about his home and his background and love of family and sharing with friends. And this is what Tom has created here. Graceland holds a very special place in our hearts. And Thomas Kinkade has done a wonderful job in capturing the beauty and the magic of Elvis Presley, his Graceland.
It's first of all a portrait of a home. And you'll notice the lights are on. So Elvis is at home. And you'll see a couple coming out, symbolic perhaps of Elvis and Priscilla in their years here. And the light is filtering from heaven, creating a timeless sense of God's love and His inspiration that fueled Elvis and fuels us all.
First thing is put it in my office in LA, which I need something to warm it up. Am I getting one, by the way?
Oh, yes.
Oh. Thank you.
And for an extra 50 cents, I'll sign it for you.
Sport and energetic style come together in the 2007 Cadillac CTS. Unleash your inner drive at only $329 a month. And you can see it today as our showroom renovation continues at Bud Davis Cadillac, 5433 Poplar, or on the web at buddaviscadillac.com.